So my uncle has generously offered me some old rotten bales that he had that he doesn't want anymore. They're just in his way, so I'm going to bring them down to the farm and I'm going to take the plastic or the wrapping off them. They're hay bales, but they've got that kind of plastic mesh wrap around them. I'm going to take that off them and then compost them. I've got a few loads of farmyard manure down here as well that I'm going to mix in through. I've got a digger coming to do a bit of work for me, so I'm going to get him hopefully to mix it through for me, make a nice neat compost pile out of the way, and then next year spread it on the land. But this stuff here, I know when I make it myself, that will be all clean and clear, and next year I should. These are really well rotted down at the minute already. They're barely holding themselves together. As you can see, they don't look much like bales anymore, but that's great. It saves me some time, and I hopefully will have a lot cleaner stuff to spread next year, and I can be confident that I won't have too much work to do after it. So I've got about a day's work here. I'm bringing all this stuff up and down. This is my first load, so I'm taking a kind of connie at the minute. 3 bales on the back. I borrowed my other uncle's tractor and trailer for this, so I'm borrowing a lot of stuff, but they don't seem to mind. It's only every now and then, and I'm telling them it's for a good cause. So we'll see how it goes. I'll try and get a bit of drone footage through the day, and yeah, by the end of it I hope to have a big pile of rotted down hay down at the bottom of the farm. So this is what I'm dealing with. In this mass of overgrown nettles and weeds and stuff, there are bales full of nutrients and full of carbon. I'm not too sure how many there are, but I'll just keep digging until they're gone. It'll be good to get some of this green stuff in with them as well, which will help them to rot down even quicker. Perfect compost pile. This here is a prime example of what in Ireland we call an úlach an fearr school. The lazy man's load, when you try to get too much on and it ends up taking even longer to do it. Someday I'll learn. So I've just come home from work, and this is all the bales out of nearly 50 of them. There's only 2 left, and they're all in here. So this is going to be my compost pile. I'm going to let this rot down for the next maybe 6 months or maybe more, see how it is, and I'm going to spread it on the land next year. Had a bit of problem with the last stuff I got. It was all full of plastic and stuff, but this time, as you can see, he is taking the plastic out, and he's going to make it a lot cleaner for me when I'm going to spread it next year. But it looks very dry, so I'm going to let it rain on it for a week or 2 or 3, and there's lots of rain coming, and then I'll cover it in a tarp to try to keep in some of that heat and moisture and not let it get it too soggy. So it's a perfect environment for all the microbes and stuff that will help break it down. And here is what came out of the shed from where the lambs were. The pigs have gone through it and broke it up even more, but he's going to put that in on top as well, which will also help it to break down, because that's all nice fresh manure. There's some farmyard manure, stable manure as you might call it, that I got a neighbour to drop into me. So when it's all mixed up, it should be great, and it's only going to be a benefit to the land when it gets spread out. Here we have tonight's little task. I've got a trailer load of manure and shed cleanings from one of many people that have been getting it off recently. It's been in this trailer for about 6 days now, and it's already 70 degrees Celsius. So this is a very active compost pile already. But I'm going to turn that, or move that out here into where I've got loads now. It's great. Loads of farmyard manure from sheds. And then at the back there's like 50 bales or 45 bales that I got. They were all rotted down, so they were no use. So, well, I say no use, they're of lots of use to me. And I'm gonna get this bad boy to mix it all up. Will be a bit too much shoveling now, in fairness, so it's great to have a machine around the place. Keep it coming. Lovely. It's getting big. So my digger man has gone. He's finished up all his work, and great work it was. It's always really good having a digger around the place, because you can just see so much results so quick, and stuff that you've been thinking about doing, but God, there was never a chance I was going to be able to dig this amount of compost. He's got all the compost heaped up here in one big pile. I'm going to let it rain on it for a week or so, and then cover it in a tarp to keep on all that heat and moisture and not let it get too wet. If it gets too wet, it'll go anaerobic, and it turns into a different type of compost, which is still good compost, but not as good as aerobic. It doesn't break down as quick. So we're looking at nearly 30 degrees here, 25, 26 degrees here on the first day. I'll come back in a couple of days and just check out, see what temperature it gets up to. Pigs have just been fed and are ready for bed, and I am also ready to hit the hay as well. So we'll come back here in a few days' time and check this out. So here we are at our compost pile. Poor old little Liam looks freezing, so we'll have him out here as soon as possible. But we don't know how wide this sheet is. It's that long ago since I bought it. So we're going to chance it. We'll make it a little longer and cut it, and then drag it across and hope it works. But I think it will. Shouldn't be too much of a difference. I think it will be wide enough. Yeah, and you drag it out a little bit more. I'll cut it down here. Yeah, so drag it a little bit more. Make sure. Right, I'm just gonna go with that. What do you think, Liam? Yeah? Pull it all the way up. Me. Apologies if it's a little bit windy, but we have it done. Thanks to Dad, he was a great help. We have it all tightened up. It looks a little bit wavy there, so in a few days time or a few weeks time that'll all settle down a bit as it starts to decompose and rot down, so we'll just come along and tighten it all up again. But I'm delighted that's done, because I wasn't too happy leaving it exposed to the elements. As you may have seen, some of it leached a bit. Not only is it leaching its nutrients, but it's not good for the water system either, so we'll leave that there to rot down for the next maybe 4 months. It'll be maybe April when the good weather comes along again and we're able to get some tractors out on the land. But yeah, it's a bit of a weight off my shoulders because I didn't want to leave it exposed for so long. So just when I had a little bit of extra time today, I said I'd come down here and check what temperature the compost pile is at. It's roughly about 30 degrees Celsius. It is about maybe 6 degrees now at the minute, so it's a good bit warmer than outside, so it's just on a bit of a slow burn. I'd say when I first turned it, it would have been a lot hotter, and now it's cooled down due to lack of air, but it'll keep burning along like that and it should be ready in a couple of months. It'll be interesting to see how far the compost pile actually stretches over the land when I'm spreading it. It's all an experiment for me, as I said before, so it'll be just interesting to see how much it takes to cover the place. I probably will have access to some more around the place. People are very generous with it. So that's our fertility program. I think this is going to be more common in a lot of places. It used to be obviously done all the time before chemical fertilizers, but price of chemical fertilizer is skyrocketing. It probably will come down eventually, but it'll always be a high cost, and the cost to the land and the damage that it does, really killing all the microbial life, reducing the organic matter content in the soil. It takes a lot of work to do and a lot of organisation and storage and stuff, and I'm not 100% happy with my system. I'd like to have the compost pile inside in a shed so it keeps the weather off it, but for this year it's all I got. But yeah, I definitely think more and more people should be and will be getting into this kind of way of fertilisation. You don't get that instant bang for your buck like you do with chemical fertiliser, but that's short-lived. This is slow release and will do you throughout the year brilliantly. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.